live with the Mushroom Queen, Mrs. Viscous. Thank you so much for joining us and for bearing with me today.
Thank you for having me.
And all of our technical things that we've gone through in the last 5 minutes. So I call you the Mushroom Queen, but you call yourself something else. Let's talk about that for a minute. What is your official title?
Yep, like I was just saying, I don't know if it's an official title, but it's kind of what I call myself, and I consider myself a psychedelic integration coach.
I love that because that's exactly what you are. That's perfect. And so you help people do mushrooms responsibly.
Essentially, yes. But it's more like, I help people and I coach people and train them and help them adjust to using small amounts of psilocybin in their daily lives. So it's to combat depression, anxiety, PTSD issues, CPTSD issues, and
I feel like so much more too is being learned about the benefits of this now. So many more things it helps than we even know about yet.
Oh yeah, muscle recovery. I know it's being used in athletics for muscle recovery. I myself have actually used it for when I had a broken foot. I broke my foot in 2 places in October 2019, and I pretty much just used RSO, cannabis, and psilocybin.
That's awesome.
To treat the pain. And that's what I did. No opioids or any prescription pills.
Hell yeah.
It did seem to help in various doses at various times. So yeah,
that's awesome.
I think all that's still being researched because it's just so new.
It's so new, and it just got decriminalized in Ann Arbor, as you know, and you were a big part of that. So tell us a little bit about how you became involved with this decriminalization movement.
I wouldn't say I was a big part of that, but I was definitely supportive of the initiative and the movement back when they first started doing it, and I had this job that I could go to the meetings on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and it was the perfect schedule, and it was great, and I was hoping to do everything, and then I ended up switching jobs, so I couldn't go to meetings as often, but I still tried to be involved, going to fundraisers for them, and still being involved in their email chains, and just keeping up with what they were doing and trying to contribute in any way that I could. So
That's
what
awesome.
they're doing, there's a lot smarter people in that group that just are amazing people and are doing way more science and research behind it than me. And what I could contribute is just my personal experience.
Yeah,
And that's what I did.
and that is what helped. I feel like that really pushed over a lot of people because they're hearing your personal experience and what you went through and what happened. So for those who don't know, do you want to share a little bit about how you started in this business?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So psilocybin, in 2017, I gave birth to my daughter, who I love to death.
Yeah, she's so cute.
So she's almost 3 now. And I experienced some severe postpartum depression, super duper severe. There's a little background to the postpartum though. Before this had happened, my husband and I had been trying to conceive for a few years, and I just had back-to-back miscarriages, and it was just super devastating. And it's crazy because I should be happy. It's I finally have my daughter. Why am I not happy? And I honestly think it was almost a shock that I had my daughter.
Yeah.
Almost in a way, as weird as that sounds. It's
No, it doesn't sound weird.
it was traumatizing.
Yeah.
Almost. So I just went into a deep dark depression during that time, and I didn't leave my house. I didn't let anyone come to my house. My mom, she was born November 14th. I was.
My son's birthday.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh my God, girls.
Oh my
Scorpio
God.
power. They are crazy.
Crazy.
They're fun and they're extremely smart, but they are crazy.
Crazy. I'm so glad you
They
know.
just sting out of nowhere, literally.
So passionate.
Yeah.
There's
Oh
so
my
much
God.
passion.
I didn't believe it until I water sign.
Well, I know. And then,
Yep. That
yes.
has a little twist in there.
yeah.
But yeah, we should have been going to Thanksgiving and Christmas that year. I refused to let anybody come to my house. I didn't go anywhere, and it just like lasted that way for like 6 months straight. Like, like yeah.
Yeah, that's the time that you want to be around family and friends and stuff, and like you're just shutting in because you're depressed.
I was super paranoid. I just had like all these like, I don't know, I couldn't even, it was anxiety. It was just severe anxiety that I didn't even recognize was anxiety at that time.
Right.
And yeah, I went to the doctor, like everybody else would. My husband was finally like, okay, look, something's wrong.
We're doing
like,
something,
we need to figure something out. I went to the doctor. I got like Celexa, I think was the first thing they tried. Of course I had Xanax, but Celexa was the first thing that they tried, and they were just messing with the dosages, like, oh, we're going to give you this many milligrams, and we'll stay here for this many weeks, and then we'll give you this many milligrams.
Like, I'm not,
and
like,
then I was like, okay,
a toy, like, you need to...
Oh my God, it was scary, because I was like, okay, well, what if this one doesn't work? She's like, oh, then we'll just try this drug. Oh, and if that doesn't work, we'll try this one. And if that doesn't work, we'll try. And I'm like,
keep throwing these drugs at you. See what sticks.
I was like, hold on, that doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't seem right.
It didn't seem right. And my husband was researching psilocybin, and he sent me a few articles on it. And I was like, sure, let's try it. So we acquired some mushrooms, and we started microdosing me.
That's
for a
awesome.
while. And like that was like the end of, or that was like mid 2018.
So you went through almost a year, over a year of being depressed and having severe anxiety and just going up and down with the medicines that these doctors were trying to give you. And
basically, like, I started using cannabis and CBD and like hemp, like, you know, what you're into and what your business is. And I actually credit a lot of even helping me adjust my mindset to being open enough to try psilocybin, because you have to realize, like, now it's like commonplace to hear about microdosing, but 2017, 2018, for me, that was not, it just wasn't in my, I mean, I tried mushrooms too when I was a kid, like 15, 16, tripping out on like 5 grams or something.
Right.
That was normal, but like, no, like just taking it as a normal person. Like, I still had an office job, like I had a 9 to 5, like I had a babysitter, like a nanny, like it was I was a very normal person. Like,
so that's
typical.
So like you were just at that point where you're like, I'm trying anything.
I think you just get to that point, and that's where I got. So mid 2018 I started, it was like March, I think. We just started microdosing me. We had been microdosing me since like December, I'd say, because we were just trying anything at that point. And I just kind of switched my Instagram over, because I was kind of I liked cannabis, it's great, but I switched my Instagram over to showcase to people what using psilocybin looks like in a family setting, kind of thing. Like, I show my family all the time. This is my life. Like,
I love it.
It's integrating the psilocybin use in with your daily life, and that's why I consider myself an integration coach in general. Like, I have experience doing this. I've been doing this for the last few years now, and
it's worked for you tremendously.
Oh my God, it's like my relationship with my child, like, I wouldn't even say I had one before. Like,
when you're that disconnected,
I was disconnected.
Like,
completely, like, and that's not fair.
It's not fair to either of you. No. Like, it sucks for everyone. Like, you don't want to feel like that.
It wasn't fair to her. So like, integrating it with my life, like, we have, like, I love my daughter so much. We have like the best relationship.
You guys are so sweet. I love when you post her.
Sweet.
It's so funny. It's so funny that they have the same birthday. I knew that her birthday was this weekend because you said that, but I was like, no way. Anyway, it makes a lot of sense now, and I'm so happy that you came to that point and that you found this thing that works for you and that works for pretty much freaking everybody. Like, I haven't heard of anybody trying this and being like, oh no, it really did not work for me. It was like really bad.
I do want to talk about that a little bit.
Yes, please.
So we do have to be careful with some people with like bipolar disorder or
really?
schizophrenia need to kind of be careful. Just people with like more serious
like mental
health. Just kind of be careful because it could go backwards on those people. And also dosing is different for everyone. There are some people where it works and they take 0.10 and they're great. Other people need a full gram.
Oh my gosh!
Like it just it's very
That's
very
a huge variance.
It is, but all of anywhere between 0.10 and 1 gram is considered a microdose for most people because you're not trying to trip. This is not to like. You're not going to see profound things. You're not going to see.
I like that phrase, profound things.
Like I just don't feel like it's like that. Like you'll know when you're seeing fractals at least 5 grams. That's completely different. But no, I consider a microdose a mood enhancer. That's what I tell everybody it is. It just like lightens the mood. Colors are richer. Sounds are sweeter. Like smells are better. Like food tastes amazing.
Yeah, everything is so much better. Yeah, it's been. I mean. For me, I also had postpartum, and I was trying everything as well. I had already been through the gamut with like the anti-anxiety medicine and depression medicine, so I knew that didn't work for me. But I was like, we just started our company then, so I was like, cool, like let's try this, and that was working. But also, I was needing to use too much
CBD.
Products. And it was getting tired.
That's where I kind of trailed off on the CBD, but like, CBD was great and it was helping with the anxiety, but I felt like the tolerance was like, and the price of it was almost like, it was outweighing the benefits at that point.
Like, I need to be able to stay awake. Like, I can't just want to sleep all day.
I love it in moderate doses, and like it has its place, and I think it had its place there.
But it's the wrong thing for the job. Like when you need that more of an oomph. Like
that's a good way to put that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And so there's tripping, which is a whole lot of fun, but crazy. Not recommended for every day going to work and taking care of your kid and stuff.
Can't probably trip and do normal things.
No, but like. I microdosed. I drank some tea, which is delicious also, by the way. I love that it's in tea form. You do the capsules too, right? But I personally like the tea because it's just like it feels like instant almost. Like you drink it and it's like,
it does activate within, for most people that metabolize, it's going to be like 30 to 45 minutes, I would say.
I feel like, and I can sip it all day. Yeah. Like I keep it in the thermos, and just like, it stays hot. I sip it. It's good, and I love it. But I couldn't before when I was just using THC and CBD to cope. My house was a mess. I didn't feel like cleaning. I didn't feel like organizing anything. I just did not care. I was just like whatever. Everything's everywhere, and that's how it is. And then I honestly credit your medicine because I changed my whole life around. On my 30th birthday this year, I was like, Mom, you're taking Rex for a week. I'm going to microdose and organize my house. And I did. And it was amazing. And it's still organized. And it's been, it's been months now. So that's huge for me. Anybody that's came over to our house in the past, you will be amazed.
I can relate to that feeling. During that depression phase in my life, cleaning became a chore, and it was just really, yes, everyone hates cleaning. We're moms. It never ends being a parent. The laundry never stops. The dishes never stop. Constant. It just, and so it gets depressing, and it gets it's overwhelming sometimes. So I've been there, and I can say, yes, there has been periods where I'm like, I don't want to fucking do this, and I just don't. And that's part of that's just part of the depression. And yes, this kind of gives you that stamina and that boost sometimes that you need to get extra things done. If I want to be focused on something that day, I might take a tea, and it'll help me focus. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't have ADHD. I think maybe I do. I don't know, but it helps me focus a little bit more closely to my tasks that I'm doing. So I can.
I do have ADHD, and like I had. That's why I know that prescription drugs don't work for me, because when I was really young, my parents were sending me to the doctor like help, like help this kid, and I won't be doing the same thing with my kids, but they didn't know any better back then. So I was put on Adderall at a really young age, and I was addicted to it for years and had no idea.
Meth.
Right? It's meth. Like, who gives their 10-year-old meth?
Well, look at what was being pushed at that time.
Right. And like my mom, you gotta understand, my mom's probably watching right now and is like, I didn't know.
No, they don't.
No,
they didn't know.
You're not a bad parent because you do this. You're taking doctors' advice who you should be able to trust. But that's one of the exciting things about what's happening now with the decriminalization. And in Oregon, the golden gates of psychedelics have been opened, and now you can actually go to the doctor in the near future and hopefully get a prescription that will actually help you and not...
I hope so. And I hope like people realize like entheogens have been used for thousands and thousands of years. Like Western society has not discovered these medicines.
No,
like, we are not the holy grail of discovering these medicines and using them for psychological problems. If you look back, there's been African tribes in Gabon that have used iboga, and there's tribes in the Amazon that use psilocybin mushrooms, and in Asia, everywhere, like they all use these, and a lot of the medicines are used as passages for children to become adults, or it's just part of a ritual. In southwestern Texas, 1-year-olds are using peyote. Like this is just it's cultural. It's cultural, and it's but you don't see the same problems, the psychological problems in their cultures that we have here,
right?
And that we have now. I'm not completely contributing it to using entheogens, but
I think that's probably very connected.
It's probably a really big part of it. Entheogens were used to talk to their ancestors.
Yeah.
And get information from your ancestors. Like that's the original use of these medicines. It wasn't to get high or to trip out, which is great. They use it for healing properties. And that's really important to respect and understand and know that about the medicine and the culture and what we're taking. We want to be responsible and aware of what these medicines are doing for us. Like,
absolutely.
We are speaking to our ancestors when we do. That's what I truly believe, and I believe that's what they're here for. So, yeah.
I love that. And that's so true. It's so healing. You know, when you have, like, just those times when you're, like we talked about, like, there's some fun sunny times where you're getting flashed in the face.
Drinking a cup of sunshine.
Yeah, it's like a cup of sunshine. And then there's the times where you're just, like, crying for seemingly no reason, but you're just like in your brain, like it's going releasing. Through.
Like it's
yes, it is like a release.
Yeah.
Oh, I've always talked about this one time. So what made me interested in microdosing long before I met you and knew about what you were doing, one time, an old boyfriend and I had these mushrooms that were just like sitting in the closet forever that like somebody gave to us. They were just like, we just never took them because there was only an eighth and 2 of us. So we were like, you know, like, what are we going to do? It's not going to do very much for us. So we, like, Googled how to get the most out of this. Like, it came time, we're like, all right, we got to do these to throw away. Like, they're going to get moldy. So we ground them up, like, in a grinder. And we didn't eat that day before this. And then we put them in the ground up mushrooms. We put it in orange juice, and we drank the orange juice. I drank half, he drank half, and then we each ate half a sandwich, and we rolled a blunt, smoked the blunt. We weren't even halfway through the blunt, and I was like, oh my god,
yeah,
it's here.
Yeah, basically you just did like lemon teching.
Okay.
Yeah, that is one method. It has vitamin C in it. So lemon teching is the same thing. You can grind up mushrooms, put them into the lemon juice or the citric acid from the orange juice, and it like kind of, I don't want to say cooks it, but it kind of reminds me of like a ceviche almost. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's already starting to activate the psilocybin and turning it into silent for you. Like, yeah, kind
it's
of like
crazy.
a jump
And like
start to it.
we were just not expecting it to be that.
And I'm glad that
like,
you mentioned the sandwich, because that's actually important to like push through. Sometimes like you'll be on a partial trip or like even a microdose if you know, maybe do too much of a microdose and you find yourself kind of tripping.
Yeah.
To push it, like, you have to eat a little bit.
Yes, that's happened
Eating
too.
is important, like, and you want to kind of eat.
Yeah.
Most of the time, unless you forget if you're just having fun, but like,
right.
you want to eat. Things taste good and it helps process that medicine through you. It's really good.
I'm so glad that I said that, because I like always wondered if that was part of what happened.
That probably helps for sure.
Good.
Awesome.
I'm so glad. Yeah. But that was awesome, and it was like it was a happy euphoric time, but also like I worked through so many like childhood traumas and like reconnected with my inner child, and like I was just like sobbing, but like good cries, you know, like and my boyfriend at the time was just like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, I'm here.
Like, I'm fine.
Like,
I'm experiencing it.
And just going through it.
Yeah. So the messages, so sometimes when we are in these states of altered consciousness, we receive messages from our future or past. I think it's good that you brought the messages forward, and hopefully any advice that you got, you used.
Yes, it's crazy.
Use the medicine. Use the medicine there. Like if you're getting messages and like symbols and signs, use those things.
Oh yeah.
That's what it's for.
It is. Yeah. It's like a secret like decoder. Like here's the answers to life. Here you go.
It is, and like that's the way I see it, and that's the way it was used, and I hope like people are using that medicine to heal the PTSD even, because that's part of it too, like those moments, maybe your inner child moments, or that you might be crying about but not realizing you're crying about. It helps you process some of that, like whatever is going on, good and bad, because sometimes you have good cries about your childhood and memories, like
absolutely
doing something fun with your parents. Like I've had cries like that too.
Especially
not all like bad, like I've been like abused, because it's not all like that. Some of them are happy memories with your parents or whatever.
It is, and that's it's so healing. And I've always been like, when people tell me that they have, you know, they don't like mushrooms, they don't like psychedelics because they had this one bad trip. You know, everybody.
I love the one bad trip story.
Yes. I had this one time where I was in hell. And like, I feel like a lot of it is like environment too. Like where you're like, you can't, I'm trying to think. Like,
it's definitely like preparation, setting, and experience. Absolutely. Like I believe that there's levels to the shit. Like, basically, there's levels. If you just like your first time, you want to go into having 7 grams, but you haven't trained your mind psychologically to accept what's going to happen at 7 grams.
Right.
And it's a lot. Like, you have to, it's like a muscle almost. You have to train your mind to accept the different realms of reality and stages of reality that come. Like, I see mushrooms as almost like a key. Yeah. Like, there's different levels of altered states. 3 grams, you know, you start to see, like, the walls warp, and then, you know, it goes up from there. I haven't even explored, like, beyond 10 grams, and that is what I'm doing next summer. Ooh. I can't wait. But anyway, like, if you're not prepared, you're going to be scared.
Yes. That should be on a bumper sticker.
If you're not prepared, you're definitely going to be scared, and it's going to make you have that bad trip experience.
Yes, and it's like people who could really benefit from doing this. I think everybody can. Like I told you, I'm putting in Christmas orders right now because I got lists of people that like need to microdose. And so another thing I was going to talk to you about, just with the healing medicinal properties, is one of my really good friends was just diagnosed with MS, and it was a really shocking diagnosis. You know, she's only 30, and so that's devastating to a 30-year-old, and she was actually hospitalized. Like, she couldn't walk. You know, she had to move in with her sister and be taken care of. She's doing better now, but she's my best friend. Like,
Yeah.
so, like, I'm looking
It's like a
into, like,
shock.
ways to, you know, help her because I'm like,
Yeah.
no, you're not dying. Like,
Yeah.
you can't just, like.
But it could feel like that for her.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
And so, like, I went into this whole thing where I tried to find, like the answer, you know, like, what can, there's out there, I know. And lo and behold, there's a doctor or several doctors working on a drug derived from psilocybin for MS specifically, because
Wow.
it's a neurological disease. And you know this, of course, but many other people don't realize that it grows your brain. It
Yeah.
literally, you know more about this than I do.
Yeah.
You can go and explain that a little more.
So psilocybin has been shown to regrow neurological brain cells and neurons. That's why it also helps recover athletes so fast as well. It's just like boosts that cell growth, which is great.
Yeah.
We want all this stuff. Like, we need to continue experimenting and having people learn to process the medicine and grow the medicine, because we need more information about it. We need more people like your friend to experiment with this kind of stuff.
Well,
That's
she's
just
going
gonna
to
be
for
amazing.
Christmas. She's one of the people
Amazing.
that's going to.
And you know what? You know what the best thing about it is, like, psilocybin mushrooms don't need really any man-made interaction. Like,
that is the best thing, I think.
that is amazing. That's great. You know, these doctors are probably going to end up, synthesizing and making tinctures and whatnot and other types of pill forms of the psilocybin. But the cool thing is they don't have to.
Right. It's already there.
It's already there. You don't need to do much. You can
You're doing it.
grow it and eat
Right.
it. And, like, don't forget that. I mean, as everything is getting legalized and decriminalized, like, we still want to have control of our medicine. Like,
Yes.
we don't want to have to depend on going to the doctor and
Right.
gatekeeper to get access to the medicine. We want to be able to grow it ourselves. And, like,
Exactly.
I think in the cannabis industry in Michigan kind of got away from us, because slowly it's like growers' rights are being taken away.
God, we
Caregivers'
don't have
rights are
any
being
rights.
taken away.
We don't have any rights.
Yeah, I don't want to see that happen with psilocybin. I don't want to see that happen with psilocybin mushrooms anywhere. And, like, that's why I'm on the fence with the Oregon thing. Like, I love it and I like it. I love it and I like it.
Scary.
But I don't know what's really going to happen.
Yes, that's
what's
how
really
it is.
going to happen. But I do love the M10 also in the same token. Is like, oh, everything's decriminalized. So you're
Yes.
like, okay, great.
Okay, cool. That part's
Okay.
nice.
You're like, oh, okay. Fine.
Yeah. All right, we'll take it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good news and, you know, kind of scary news just because we don't know. But the other thing she was telling me about her treatment now, she was smoking weed because, obviously.
Yeah. Just overall pain. Yeah.
Right. And now her pain management won't let her smoke weed. And so I'm just like, but they'll give her opiates. And I'm...
Yeah. That happened to me too. With my broken foot thing. So I was treating myself with cannabinoids, RSO, and psilocybin. I told my doctor about my medical card, and he was like, well, basically you can choose one or the other. You can choose these opioids, but you have to stop smoking weed, or you can smoke weed. And I was like, well, then I'm going to smoke weed. Duh. What are you talking about? Is that a question? Like,
exactly.
So, but yeah, they make you choose between these two worlds almost.
That's
you know what I mean?
Wrong. Like, I believe the opiates have their place, but it's been proven that you shouldn't be on them for a long time.
Yeah, no, prolonged use, which is like, what, 3 months or something?
Yeah.
They have people on opioids for years.
For years!
Like for no reason.
You're creating a drug habit.
Yeah.
Like a bad one.
Yeah, I think physical therapy, I mean, I don't know people's levels of pain. I don't know. Like, is it psychological pain? I don't know. I don't know.
I think sometimes physical and psychological pain go together.
Yeah.
I've experienced that. I know my mom's experienced that before, and it's something that, like, doctors really aren't very understanding about.
Absolutely not.
And
it's like they don't
believe you. Like,
I
they don't
know.
want to.
It's like the food, spiritual side, and the physical side has not come together yet.
And it
And
seems
it's
like
all,
the
it's
obvious
all,
choice.
It is all one thing that should be just like
Right.
synchronizing and just,
Right.
mind, body, soul.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
how is that not integrated
that
in
not
medicines
obvious?
right now? But I do see a lot of like nurses and doctors that are coming to terms and using plant medicine. There's a guy in Florida, oh my God, I can't. Dr. Lonnie. Dr. Lonnie, he's like the CBD doctor. He advocates for medical cannabis use and CBD use, and I love that. Like,
that's awesome.
yeah.
I love doctors like that. My mom actually just started going to a doctor here in Flint. She went to him a long time ago, but he's like, it's a hard guy to get into because he's a good doctor that doesn't just treat symptoms. Like, he looks for your root cause. And him and his wife, they sell CBD. He'll look at your whole environment, your diet, like everything that's affecting
those things
you.
are important.
They are important. I remember the first time I went to him, I was like 18, and I was like, oh, my stomach hurts, like, I don't know why my stomach hurts. And he's like, all right, well, let's go in this machine and scan your colon and your intestines. And I'm like, what? Like, why are we doing that? And he did, and he's like, all right, you see all this? He's like, you eat fast food? And at the time, I was 18, could eat whatever I wanted. I ate Taco Bell every day at lunch, I'm like, yeah, like, I eat Taco Bell pretty much every day. He's like, this is Taco Bell. Like, this is sitting,
stop eating it,
rotting in your intestines, and that's why your
Absolutely.
stomach hurts. And I was just blown away because I'd been going to doctors for a while, like, trying to figure out what the hell was wrong.
Yeah.
Like, I'm 18 years old, I should be healthy. And no one had answers for me. They did throw prescriptions at me, like Vicodin, all the time. Like, whatever's wrong, here's Vicodin.
They're like, oh, you're in pain? Here's the pain pills.
Right, like, what?
Yeah.
No, just tell me why. I'm in pain. I don't want.
That's insane.
Yeah, so
That's
that.
scary, almost.
Yeah, and so that was the first doctor that ever really, like, I felt actually cared about me, and I was like, oh my God, you're out here. Like, you are real. You actually do care. So my mom went to him the other day because she was experiencing some other issues with her thyroid or whatever, and she just wanted to see what's going on. And he was telling her for her pain management, he doesn't know that she smokes weed, but now he does. He's like, you can do CBD and you can add THC. You would benefit from THC. It doesn't, I don't think it would hurt you at all, but you have to be careful with dosing. And then he started to explain the negative side effects of weed, which are tired and, lethargic and memory loss, which is what she said. And I'm like, I haven't really experienced memory loss, but
short term.
Yeah.
When I can't find my remote, like,
that's,
when
yes.
am I?
Yeah,
but I feel like it comes back.
It does. It comes back for sure. So yeah, that's exciting that there are doctors like that out there, and they're hopefully, that's my hope with this legalization. I'm just gonna keep it positive, and I'm just like, okay, everyone's gonna get on board. We're gonna get more good guys.
That is the good thing. Yes,
Yeah.
about more research is gonna be out here and available, which is
Yes.
amazing. We want more research. We want
Yes.
better things to be out there, and we want to be able to grow our own medicine.
Yes.
Like, at the end of the day, with it too. So
you just taught a class the other day at the Copper House, which is awesome. I haven't been yet, but like, I've seen their page and I'm just like in love, and I can't wait to check it out. So what was that what your class was about? Was growing, or
yeah, it was about learning how to propagate your own medicine and being culturally responsible, and the history of how the plant medicines got here and their use. So
that's amazing.
yeah,
I
think
wanna-
it was a really fun
My
class.
husband and I want you to come over and do a private class with us. We're so intrigued. But that's amazing that you're doing that work and that you're putting that out there for people to know and to be able to grow themselves and heal themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like we talk about this all the time. People need to heal themselves. Like, if you are experiencing some negative thought patterns and you're taking it out on everyone around you, please heal yourself.
Absolutely.
Do yourself and everyone else a favor. Like, when you're stuck in those negative thought patterns, though, it feels like there's no way out, and it feels like you're...
It is. I feel like it is. It's like a mind booby trap sometimes. And that's why my slogan is healing yourself is not a crime. Like, right now, what we're doing and talking about has like this big gray area, but really, is it so bad to want to be psychologically sound of mind. Like, why is that so bad?
Why is that bad? Why were these illegal in the first place? Like,
it makes no sense to me. Like, but alcohol is fine.
Alcohol is fine.
I mean, I realize alcohol.
Cigarettes are fine.
Yeah, I know that these things did have periods of prohibition, and I hope right now is that we're coming out of these prohibitions.
Yes.
Like, absolutely, yes. Like,
finally.
Yeah, it's time. So.
It is time. It's so time.
Yeah.
So, do you know anything about DMT? Have you heard anything about DMT?
Yeah, love DMT.
Love DMT. Oh my god.
That's a whole nother realm
I
to
know.
me. Like,
It
I don't
is.
know.
It
That's
literally
one for
is a
this
whole-
show. I think that's a different show.
That's
but it
a
is
literally
it
whole
is-
other realm.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, it's in the psychedelic world. It is an experience, to say the least. I love DMT for the fact that it's awareness to me. Is what it feels like awareness. I don't even know if that makes any sense.
Oh, it does.
to
It makes
use that
sense to
word.
me. I feel like if you've done DMT before, you'll be like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yes, that word is like.
I had
Yeah.
the first time I used to know a guy that was like our shaman, and like he got the ayahuasca root, and like he made the DMT, and I'm just like, I like tried to learn from him how to do it, and like it's a whole process.
It's a whole thing.
It's a whole fucking
It's
thing.
a while.
Like, I don't want to pay someone to go to the Amazon to like smuggle this back. I might be tapping out at this point.
Wow.
But the first time I did that was much like the first cleansing time I did that little bit of mushrooms when I, the lemon, whatever you said.
Oh yeah, the
activating.
lemon teching.
Yes.
You did like orange teching, but
Yeah. So that kind of happened with my first time DMT because I had a cold when I tried it. So like when you smoke DMT, for those of you who don't know, it hits you immediately. Like when you smoke it, you're supposed to smoke it on top of weed. I know some people have done it in a cigarette, but that I feel like is just like counterproductive. It's like, why would you do that?
Or dabbing it.
Yeah, like, so I took as big of a hit as I could, but like I coughed it out immediately. So it's like a pinball machine where you pull the lever back and you're just spraying forward. And so I didn't trip like super hard my first time, but I like went into another world. I went to another dimension, and I just saw like a kaleidoscope of geometric shapes, and then this like it was like this Venus flytrap plant, and then it turned into like a hieroglyph, and from those images I took away that like I needed to leave my loser boyfriend. I didn't say that anywhere in the trip, but nothing like came to me and was like, you need to leave this guy. It was just like I woke up from this DMT dream like, okay, so that's done now.
So DMT is like, I would say, the speaking is more in colors, or like, so the kaleidoscope pattern I think that we all see when we ingest DMT, or maybe most people, I don't know.
I know, right?
But a lot of people seem to see this kaleidoscopic pattern, and to me I call it the fabric of life, and like, you can see it in any psychedelic, really. But DMT, it's very prominent. There's this story, I don't know how true it is. I have to find the resource for it, and I will send you the link about it. But the Paisley pattern apparently is one of the patterns that somebody, that you see on DMT. And like, that's how the pattern is like super popular. Is
right.
Like,
It's
the Paisley pattern is the DMT pattern.
Yeah.
It's one of them. There's so many.
There's so many.
But yeah, I feel like in colors and like patterns, shapes, sounds is like definitely the message in DMT. It's not like an entity. Like,
no.
sometimes in mushrooms you'll see like an entity. I don't know. People have seen shadow people on DMT though.
Yeah, there's some people go different places.
Yeah, I have not been to the shadow place
I haven't
yet,
either.
so
I'm just like,
I don't
waiting.
know. I don't know about that, but exactly. It was just more colors to me, and more. I felt my body, if that makes any sense.
You like leave your body and like come back into your body.
I felt my body like. To me, it was like my message was you need to be in your body right now and in your moment, because it felt like, have you ever gotten a tattoo?
Yeah.
It felt like every single part of my body was getting tattooed.
Oh,
it was just like pins and needles and pins and needles. And it was super painful.
Yeah.
But I was like, holy shit, no, this is what I need to fucking feel right now. Like, something is telling me, like, no, be aware of your body. Stop leaving your body. Like,
whoa,
be grounded.
See?
Be
it's
in.
different for everybody. That's crazy. That's cool, though.
I don't know. I don't know if that's what I took from my message in my latest trip.
It's crazy. It's different for everybody. And then, like, when I was trying to, like, I go through these phases with these different things that I find that are helpful for me, and, like, I tell everybody about it. I'm like, this would work for you. This would work for you. And then people will try it and not get the same thing out of it that I do. And I'm like, oh, shoot. Like, I'm sorry.
That's what's awesome. It makes us individual, though. You know?
Yeah, but...
and sometimes they probably only need, like, a little tweaking.
Yeah.
A little tweaking of whatever it is.
Yeah. But one of the cool things, like we were just talking about with mushrooms, is that you don't need any MAOI inhibitors. There's nothing you have to do to it. Like, it just grows that way, and you eat it, and you ingest it, and it's good.
There is minimal side effects compared to, you know, pharmaceutical medicines. Some people experience, like, gut uncomfortableness or, like, you have to, like,
shroom tummies.
Yeah. And that's normal. It's like a toxin.
Right.
Like, it's still a toxin, but I do think that, you know, taking a little bit of ginger or some peppermint, you'll adjust, and it kind of goes away. Like, once you start your microdose trip, or I don't even know what to call it.
Like your session, or
we'll call it a session.
Yeah.
It just kind of goes away, and it doesn't matter.
I've noticed that too. Like, when my stomach is pretty sensitive to psychedelics, it seems, and when I started microdosing, like, at first it was, and then it stopped being that way.
Yeah.
And also I feel like the tea helps, like, doing it in the tea form.
That's why that's why I created it. Oh my God. So I was microdosing so much in 2018 that, like, I was doing a 5-day method. I did, there's different regimens for microdosing, like 3 or 4 days on, 3 or 4 days off, or 5 days on, 2 days off. I was doing 5 days on, 2 days off. So that means I'm eating mushrooms, which they're grown in poop.
Right.
They don't taste good. They don't smell good.
Right.
And when you're taking them that often, I just, like, I needed something else.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, you can Google it. It's not like super duper hard, but that's the way I started ingesting them. Is just through that method.
It's so much better. I feel
it's a lot easier on the tummy, and like, it's measured out, so you know exactly what you're taking. It's not just like a
guess.
Like,
yeah.
Yes, which is super important. Like,
yes. Oh my God.
Yeah. Like, I'm averaging out, like, what people's doses right now. I'm like, some people need a little bit less, some people need a little bit more. So for me, it's, I'd say 0.33 is, like, good for me for my microdoses.
Yeah, I need to figure out what mine is, because it doesn't. It seems to be. It changes with me too.
It does change.
Like, sometimes I can drink 2 teas in a day. Like, other times 1 tea is all I need. And God, I really wish I was drinking that tea right now. Like, I keep talking about it. I'm like,
I need to relax. Damn it.
I know.
Seriously.
No, it's so nice though. Just to that's my preferred method of drinking it, and I feel like there's something so, like, almost tribal about consuming it that way. Like,
yeah, that's how most of the ancient tribes, that most of these are teas, like the ayahuasca tea.
Yeah.
Iboga is tea.
Yeah.
Like kava kava, which is another entheogen. It's a mild entheogen, but it's taken in, like, a drink form, tea form. So it's like, it's super. I don't want to say it's natural though, but it kind of is.
It
like,
is. I feel like it's the most natural
like
drug.
Tea
yeah, and so I told you about this book. You love Terrence McKenna, and I reference this book all the time, The Food of the Gods, which I totally meant to bring for you today because it's so good. It's okay, we just have to hang out again. But he kind of goes into all of that, like, not just, like, psychedelics, but, like, chocolate.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, all plants
these are
that have
medicines.
that have this effect on your body and your mind. And I was just blown away. Like, I had no idea. Like, I knew I liked chocolate, but, like, there's a whole reason, the chemistry that happens in your brain.
It's
when
so
you eat
weird.
it.
Like, I was born at the perfect time to the perfect parents for what I'm doing right now. Like, my dad's a pescatarian, like Rasta hippie kind of guy. My dad has dreads that are literally like to his kneecaps right now.
I love
like,
it.
And we grew up super, like, I guess back then it's considered holistic now. I don't know what to call it. Back then it wasn't anything. It was just like my dad mostly ate fruits and plants. Like,
my dad eats
fruits and plants, and like that's what we eat. Like, we weren't allowed. It's not that we weren't allowed, but like we didn't have like aspirin to take if we had a headache. He'd be like, "Oh, go take like this peppermint oil or some shit. Like, make a peppermint tea." Like, he had teas for everything. My dad was the tea dude.
I love it.
Ginger teas. He'd make ginger root teas. Making us like smoothies. Like, just like
That
he was
sounds
just
amazing.
Super,
I wish he would adopt me.
He smoked weed, but it wasn't like, it was not a negative thing in my family growing up. Like, it was so natural.
Yeah.
So, like, I just naturally grew up smoking weed for ailments and stuff, and
right. And people don't understand, like, I'm also very fortunate to have grown up with parents who are very accepting, and we've all used plant medicine in my family forever.
My dad loves the teas now, too. Like,
of course he does. He's so proud of you, I bet. He's like, my girl!
My mom likes him, too. Like,
oh, yeah.
It's just, like,
I can't wait. My mom is excited. I told her I was doing the show with you today, and she's like, give me some. But yeah, I actually had a similar experience. I broke my foot when I was coaching gymnastics in Oregon, and you can't like be down in that job. Like, you have to be up. And I was also teaching preschool. So like busy. I literally couldn't be immobile, and I had to like get over it really quickly. So like, and I was like in this weird place where like I just started my teaching job, so like I didn't have insurance yet. So it was like super expensive. I like broke my foot, and I was like, didn't go to the doctor for a couple days because like, it'll be fine. And then like that Monday came, and I was like, I can't put my shoe on. Okay, I should probably go to the doctor and get an X-ray. And so I did, and I broke my sesamoid bones, which is like the same weight-bearing bone as your knee. Just like on your toe, where your toe connects to your foot.
So
painful, and just like, how do you avoid using that? But my doctor just like automatically got out his prescription pad and started to prepare to write me a prescription for opiates. And I'm like, no, like, I'm good. I got this. And I was living in Oregon, so it was really nice that we had access to...
Oregon is so great for their cannabis industry right
now.
It is so far beyond what Michigan has going on. It's
not
even funny.
Because they've been in it it's been legal there for over a decade now.
The growers are just like, there's like mostly like organic growers, and just like the culture there is completely different about drugs.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense that they are the first place in the U.S.
I totally can see.
Everything.
Yeah.
Like,
I wasn't
where
surprised.
else could you imagine that?
Nowhere.
Nowhere.
Of course, it's Oregon.
Yeah.
It sucks that Portland's on fire right now, but they'll come back. It's like... Oregon's one of those weird places, too. Like, we lived there for a while. My husband lived there longer than I did. We're both from Michigan, so we moved back to have babies and stuff. But we lived out there forever because it was so fun. And it was like
fun.
You have every kind of climate there, so growing things is really fun because you get to figure out, like, what grows where, like, what grows best where.
You know what? I think we should take a trip back in 2020. I went there in 2017 with my husband for, like... It was kind of a cannabis, like, food trip. Like, I went there for cannabis and food. And, like,
that sounds like a great trip.
But I love that in Oregon, everybody just had, like, shit growing in their front lawns. Yeah. Everywhere.
Everyone's farming everywhere. Yeah.
Everywhere. Like, every single house that we passed had something growing in the front lawn. And in the back. Like, don't get me wrong.
If you have space, like, people are growing shit.
The back is full. But so full that they have to put it in the front. Like, in Michigan...
We have all this space.
We have tons of growing ability in Michigan.
There's like yards here, and no one
does anything with their shit. Like, they just we're growing a weed, we're growing grass, and we're watering it and taking care of it like it's life bearing.
Right.
Like,
it's not. There's no point in grass.
No.
My husband and I talk about this all the time because we'll see these like huge. Because that was one of the things. Like, living out there. We were trying to buy a new house to possibly expand our family.
Dude, it's expensive.
It's so expensive, and that's the downside. Everyone wants to live there because it's so beautiful. But you can't get, like, property there for cheap or, like, even affordable. Like, so the little space that people have, they're definitely taking advantage of it. And, like, here, we're just, like, wasting all this green
I know, we have, like,
space.
all this fresh fucking water, like, river here. I live in a neighborhood with, like, 4 lakes, personally, and, like, we're like, fuck it, this can just grow here. We don't need anything. I don't need to cultivate anything. Like,
it's fine.
It's fine.
But
we'll just go to the grocery store.
In places like Flint in downtown Detroit, they have the hoop houses, and so, like, it is there. Like, I feel like when the need is there, and when the people are, like, they don't really have the space, they'll, like, make it, and they'll figure it out. So hopefully we can figure something like that out.
We need to figure some things out in Michigan. In general. But I love this state. I don't think I'm ever going to move. Like,
I love Michigan.
Oh my God. Like, we went to Florida recently, and my husband was like, oh my God, we met our friends down there who migrated to Florida, and they say they're never coming back. And my husband was like, I could move down here. I could never come back. I was like, I don't think so. I need my fall and I need my winter.
I cannot.
I actually love snow.
Me too.
I do.
It's so pretty and it's so quiet.
It's quiet.
It's magic.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like magic. And, like, where we live now, before we were living, like, in the city in Portland, we had a yard, but it wasn't anything.
I know what there is.
Just little. And you know, we lived across the street from a train track, and, like, a bunch of other, like, really bad things. So we couldn't wait to get out of that.
Oh my God, yeah, that is part of the element.
Yeah, we, like, with just sirens all the time, train whistles, like, literally all the time.
So it's so popular that there's, like, a lot of homelessness in Portland, specifically. Yeah. I don't know about the
We had homeless neighbors, like, those were our neighbors. They were nice, like, we saw them every day. They lived right there, but it's a problem, and I feel like there's a lot of conspiracy theories on why the homeless situation is so bad in Portland. Like, when I lived there, they're like, oh, they're busing people in from Vancouver, and they're like, all this stuff, and I'm just like, maybe they just, like, really want to be here because it's nice. And
it is. The weather is nice.
It is. It doesn't get, usually, sometimes, like, one year, it got, like, a deep freeze there, and, like, they just don't have, like, the equipment to, like, keep up with the snow, so it was really dangerous, and, like, it was literally not safe to drive on the highway because there was, like, sheets of ice, like, this, in between, like, tire tracks, so it was just, they were just ill-prepared for that, but usually it doesn't get that bad, so, like, being homeless in Flint, you're gonna die if you stay outside in the wintertime. Being homeless in Oregon and Portland, you probably won't die.
Yeah, it'll be a little cold.
Yeah, it'll be a little cold. But when we lived there, I think it's still the same. You can camp on any piece of land.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is still true.
It's still freaking cool. Like, going camping in Portland or in Oregon at all, you can go anywhere. Like, if you want to, you can.
But they also take that to the extreme because, like, we went to, that, I don't know what that park's called with, like, all the bridges and the waterways.
It's like every park.
it's like
my
with
brain
the little
is, like,
reindeer jumping. Oh my God,
I know, with the Portland sign.
Yes, by the Burnside Bridge.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Yes. We went to the Burnside, like, specifically to see what it was like. It was awesome. But yeah, it's, like, right by there. But, like, yeah, they take advantage because
they'll literally camp.
There's
anywhere.
People camping and pooping and peeing in public there.
That's what I don't understand is, like, this beautiful city. Like, when we moved there, it was so gorgeous and, like, it had so many parks and, like, it wasn't a homeless, infested area. And now it's, like, our friends still live there and they're like, yeah, I don't know if you guys should come back and visit. Like, we'll come to you. Because there's nothing, you can't even go downtown right now. Like, it's a whole thing.
Like, and I don't know, like, I don't live there. I don't know how to fix that problem or issue.
I feel like
now.
Mushrooms would help. Like, a lot of these homeless people are, like, addicts or mentally ill. And I mean, seriously, like,
Yeah.
think about how much different people's lives could be. Just like you said before, you have to be careful with mentally ill patients because dosing can be tricky, but I still feel like it's better than nothing.
And the legalization will bring about the ability for people to have them in like a good facility so they can test the stuff on people and have counteractive medicines, hopefully, or whatever that they need to fix things or help people.
I didn't even think about that. That would be great, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
There's so many like industries that are gonna sprout out of this movement, and it's good. And I think that decriminalizing it and letting people, the common person, learn about the medicine and help create these industries, like that's important.
It is so important. Well, thank you so much for coming today and
Thank you
driving all this way and being here. You're amazing. It was so wonderful getting to finally meet you in person. I know we've had like this Instagram relationship for a while, but like, it's nice to like actually see you and meet you.
Thank you for having me.
And this is going to be an awesome episode. I'm so excited to share with all of you guys. And thanks for being my first episode back from the Corona comeback that stopped our show